with the Islanders and Tampa, can I just be the guy who says that I'm all the way in on the Islanders? I am all the way in on the Islanders.
What?
This team that's been into back-to-back conference finals and has looked like a juggernaut, you're in on them. You're in on this really good
against
team.
the Stanley Cup champions, guys. I'm all the way in on the Islanders.
So wait, you're saying the Islanders are going to beat them?
I think they're going to win.
Wow.
I think they're going to beat Tampa. I think they're going to beat Tampa.
So I was very conflicted making my predictions today because the Islander, I mean, it's stupid to bet against them. And I've said it every video. I haven't taken them in every video because, I mean, they're playing, the Penguins, who I thought had learned a thing or two and for a while looked like they had. The Bruins were the hottest team in hockey, and Taylor Hall couldn't stop until he abruptly stopped. It's dumb to bet against the Islanders. The Tampa Bay Lightning beat them last year, Sans Stamkos, and now they've got him. Stamkos is 5th in playoff scoring.
And they got a Kucherov who's playing the best hockey of his career.
Like, absolutely no rust, absolutely no fatigue. Like, you don't have to take anything away from the Islanders in order to say, I think Tampa's going to win this. They're too good. If the Islanders beat them, holy shit.
Guys, the Islanders, and I understand what you're saying, but the Islanders also did just shut down Marchand and Bergeron.
Yeah, Marchand had a great series.
He did.
He scored 2 goals in that game 6, and both of them were really nice goals. Especially the second one when he boxed out his man in front of the net, like he's playing basketball and just shuffled the puck into the net. Marchand was beautiful on Wednesday night.
Here's the thing.
My point.
The hardest thing to do in the league right now.
Yeah.
My point with scoring is you have a team with Bergeron, Marchand, perennial playoff performers, Pasternak, perennial playoff performer. Taylor Hall has played 3 minutes in the playoffs his entire career and played really great in the first round, and you shut him down. And I know Tuukka Rask was injured. I get that.
Tuukka Rask is very injured, though. What is it? Torn labrum
in his hip
or something? I forget.
About that,
torn labrum in his hip.
Steve made a point years ago when Tyler Johnson was just ripping it up in the playoffs and then had a wrist injury, and he was like he came back and they froze it and it was broken. And Steve's point was, are you telling me 50% of Tyler Johnson is better, like 50% health Tyler Johnson is better than the guy who you're sitting in his place?
I think the guy back then was a really young Vlad Nemestikov. And I'm like, there's no way Tyler Johnson with a broken wrist is better than Vlad Nemestikov at anything. Like, there's no way. And like Jordan Swayman was so good for the Bruins all year. Like, he was healthy, right?
Yep.
And like, you know what I think was happening there? They realized Rask, he could be done with the team, and they wanted him to basically go out on his shield. Guys, you had a chance to win here. You had a chance.
Also, Halak, did we forget that Halak played for them in the playoffs last year, and they still have him on the roster? Like, he was their starting goalie because Rask didn't make the bubble. Mm-hmm. And is
Halak still on the Boston roster?
Yeah.
Let me look.
So because Jeremy Swayman, I wanted to see. That was what I wanted.
Jordan, is it Jeremy?
Jeremy.
But they have.
Oh, it is Jeremy. Whoops.
And like
I got it wrong this time.
The Steve point you brought up is so true because it's like what are we getting at Halak? 70 or Rask, 70% Rask. Is that better than 100% Halak? Like I don't know.
And there's no way it's 70. There's no way. It's like Ben Bishop. No. It's like Ben Bishop. The Lightning did it twice, really, in 2015 because they had Ben Bishop like dragging himself. That was another Pete Blackburn classic when he basically took one of the zombies from The Walking Dead and put them in the crease and was like, "Here's Ben Bishop in game 2." Like he was just.
I just think here's the thing, guys. I think you can smother the Lightning, and if there's a team that's going to smother you, it's the Islanders. I honestly just think we got to give the Islanders a little more credit here. I know everybody's giving it to Tampa. I am all the way in on the Islanders fans, and I'm all the way in on this team. Barry Trotz, this effective, sort of boring way that they play. I mean, I don't see how. It's not that Stamkos isn't going to score. It's not that Point's not going to score. It's not that Kucherov's not going to score. It's What happens when you can shut them down and then the secondary scoring isn't going to score at all? Like this is the thing. Like you eliminate everybody else and isolate those guys.
If the Islanders are able to effectively target and get around Victor Hedman, they can win this series. Because
how do you do that?
Well, the Tampa Bay Lightning are very obviously as good as he is. In 2019, he was not good. He was hurt, and they crumbled. In 2020, he was good, and I believe won the Conn Smythe, and they won the entire Stanley Cup. This year, his performance has been kind of spotty, and I believe he's injured. I don't remember what the injury is. It's impossible to keep up. What happened last year, in my opinion, is the Islanders tried to play the waiting game with the Lightning, and the opportunity just never arose because it's the Lightning. You're not the only team who can play defense, for God's sake.
Yep, and they play great defense.
But I do think the Islanders' offense is better than we give it credit for, and they're deeper than we give them credit for. And that's why the Zajac Palmieri trade helped them so much. Pajot has been really good for them these playoffs. Beauvillier has been really good.
That's my favorite thing about the Islanders is the Beauvillier, Nelson, Bailey line, because they have this thing where they shut it down in the neutral zone, or just like on the edge of the defensive zone. They're able to they did this they did this 3 times on Wednesday to the Bruins, and it led to, I think, 2 goals and then 1 other scoring chance where they just pickpocket you in that little area. And then whoever gets the puck, if it's Bailey or if it's Nelson, they hurry it down the ice and they get this shot. And then twice it worked, and it led to 2 goals for Nelson. Another time it was like an opportunity for Beauvillier. But that line in particular does whatever little system they're running so well, where they're able to stop the offensive flow before it gets going down at the other end, and then turn it immediately into an offensive chance. And that's what makes the Islanders so dangerous, because they don't allow the shots, and then they get 1 or a couple down on the other end. And that little quick turn is it's really scary, and it stopped the Bruins, and who knows if it can stop Tampa.
So I love the reverence that you're talking about the Islanders with, because Colorado, Vegas, I think anybody with half their brain turned on who has never watched a hockey game in their entire life could have enjoyed that series.
Yes.
Or the Lightning versus the Panthers.
Yep.
That could be the first hockey you've ever watched.
7 goals, 2 periods.
Flick that brain off and enjoy. Tampa versus the Islanders, if that's what you're looking for, I think it could be a bit of a challenge for you. But if you want to learn about hockey, and you have the patience for it,
wow, good point.
You will love it. Well, and so I've gotten the question a few times, and I don't know if I'm the right person to ask, but someone will be like, I'm new to hockey. You know what it was? I kept talking about how Tavares is the little thing king, and he's not as flashy as some of the guys in the Leafs who are extremely flashy. He is more difficult to watch than Matthews or Marner. You don't need to even have you could have one eye open and watch Matthews and be like, that guy's a friggin' star. Tavares, on some nights, if you're not fully paying attention, you'll be like, this guy's a bum. He's not doing anything. If you're engaged, you're like, oh, this guy's actually amazing. He's holding this team together. That, to me, if you watch hockey that way, if you watch the Lightning and Islanders that way, you'll learn a ton about the sport, how systems work, attention to detail. And when you do see the same thing over and over again, the Lightning attack the Islanders, stop it. The Lightning attack the Islanders, stop it. When the Lightning finally break through, that repetition allows you to realize, oh, they did this time, and it beat them. And then you watch the Islanders adjust, and you go, whoa. It will be, I think, a bit of a chess match. That doesn't mean it's going to be boring.
I also want to say this. Every time I watch Mark Stone and JG Pageau, I'm first off, I think they're the Eastern and Western Conference version of each other. And then I'm reminded that they were on the same team. And did Ottawa overreact to Erik Karlsson wanting out?
They oversold.
Really?
Stone didn't want to sign there.
Well, yeah, I guess he didn't, eh? I think, man, I just feel like maybe it was a Eugene thing or whatever. Boy, did they fuck that up. Like it's not that they aren't building really well, because I think Pierre Dorian's done a really good job, and there's a lot to love about the Ottawa Senators currently. But I look at some of the players that they had, and I think, man, if you'd gotten rid of the problem areas, Carlson didn't want to be there, Hoffman needed to go. You can't repair that.
The problem area is the owner.
Yeah, it was because
Yeah.
At the 18-19 season, when they traded Stone to Vegas for Brandstrom and that little package, it was because Stone was becoming a UFA, and Ottawa's like, hey, we don't have money. Our owner's not going to pay up for Mark Stone. They just ship him over to Vegas.
It's so much easier to pitch a rebuild there, because during a rebuild, you don't have to pay anybody. Like, this is the thing about the Sens. I think we all agree they're young and talented. And they're going to be better next year, and they're going to continue to get better. But at some point down the line, you're going to have to pay these dudes. And then what?
Well, Brady's going to be first. We'll see if he signs that extension this offseason.
But then they got to keep going. It's not just going to be Brady. It's going to be this guy, and then this guy, and then this guy. It's almost like they got to hit this sweet spot in order to contend. And in 2017, they found it. But once, like, their window slammed shut with the money. It's a tough way to be. It's Pierre Dorian.
Once every 10 years, you get a swing.
Pierre Dorian might be a much more talented GM than we give him credit for, just because of the tight parameters that he's.
I mean, I think we have to give him a ton of credit. That team played great. DJ Smith deserves a ton of credit as well. He's assembled this band of merry men. But as we know, as things, like the thing is, it's easy when there's nothing at stake, when there are no expectations. There is something to that. And trust me, I watching the 16-17 Leafs barely squeak in, and you're playing with house money, man, that's great. That's fun. What happens when it's been 5 years and you haven't got out of the first round? Things get a little bit annoying, and you've got an owner who's squirreling. I mean, really, that's, to me, part of it with what happened in Ottawa, at least it just feels this way, is the owner just like, I'm tired of cheering for this particular group. Because he could have paid them. If he can pay the guys now, why couldn't he have paid them then? I don't know. Anyway, we're getting off track. I'm all the way in on the Islanders. I understand that is a tough take, but I think I'm
It's not that tough. It's back-to-back conference finals. They're a very good team.
I'm just curious to see what Barry Trotz can do with the Tampa Bay Lightning this year. That's all.